never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Oh yeah, you fight.
Hello and welcome to Gameday from the UK, another Miami Heat UK live pre-game streaming show, here to sort of preview tonight's game against the Houston Rockets. But more importantly than that, it's Depot Day, 1 year almost to the day. Victor Oladipo is back in a Miami Heat uniform, and we are going to be leading with that pretty dominantly throughout this episode. First of all, let's introduce the cast. Ollie Rahimi, fresh off of hosting duties.
I'm good, mate. Thank you. Much prefer being this side of it.
You've done a great job. Thank you very much for doing that for me. Bit of a nightmare last time out. If you haven't seen the show, stuck in traffic, thought we was going to not have to do a show, but my boys stepped up. Ollie, Bilal, and John Jablonka, who can't be here tonight, all produced a brilliant show. Thank you so much, Ollie, for hosting that. It was really, really good. Go back and check it out if you haven't already done so. Bilal, Mona, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Excited for tonight.
I'm very excited. It's been a while since I've been this excited. I think, apart from maybe opening day, this is the most excited I've been to watch a Heat game. Victor Oladipo, the last time he suited up for the Miami Heat was mid-April sometime. 18 points in just 25 minutes the last time we saw him against the LA Lakers. Almost a calendar year out, 11 months-ish. His fifth game for the Miami Heat. Crazy stuff. Ollie, you wrote an incredible article on what we can expect back. Go and check that out, please, on Ollie's Wix site and also the MiamiHeatUK.com. Ollie, what can we expect, mate? Let's start there, because the Heat have been using some pretty incredible adjectives. They're using some pretty special words to say what they've been seeing from Victor in practice. Very, very quickly, mate, what can the Heat expect from Victor?
Yeah, firstly, thanks for the plug. Appreciate that. Yeah, as you said, he's played 4 games. He's played 111 minutes. That's it, since he's been a member of the Heat, which has been almost a year, which sounds ridiculous. And yeah, as you said, Zach Lowe and George Sedano were on a podcast together, and Sedano said that he has heard from within the Heat that Oladipo looks, quote, unbelievable, and I think incredible is the other word. And yeah, as I mentioned, you don't say those words if he just looks to be sort of at a level that you'd expect him to be. If he was just looking okay or fine, you wouldn't say those words. So, you know, I'm expecting good things. I think the Heat have managed him well, and they don't intend to put him on a minutes restriction as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think we can expect good things from him. If not, you know, from the first game, but definitely down the road. He himself has said that he has played on one leg for the last 2 years, and he has still been at a really good level. So to see him fully fit back now, I'm so excited. And yeah, it's Depot Day, man. Like everything else, even if we lose by 50, I don't care. Like we got Depot back. I'm just excited.
Yeah. You sort of bring up a point there about, you know, he's been playing on one leg for a long part of his recent career. And when I spoke to Jeremy Taché 3 or 4 weeks ago now, we spoke about Depot's return. And he said that he spoke to Oladipo on Media Day, which seems like a lifetime ago now. But obviously he'd had the surgery by then. And he said that even at that point, when he was so buoyant, he said that just to be able to walk around his house, go and get a glass of milk from the fridge, just just literally something as simple as just walking around and no pain, he said was huge for him. So that shows you how much he'd been dealing with this injury, Bilal, and that's how much it had hampered him maybe since we've seen these big days in Indiana. So just for small things like that, as Ollie just said there, they've managed him brilliantly. There's been no real need to bring him back because of how well the Heat have done. But just something like that, to be able to him to be fully fit, raring to go, to be able to play basketball with no concerns, that must be huge just for him personally.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it's really good to hear that he's doing well in his recovery. and obviously it's hard when you don't have basically two healthy feet, basically. So, yeah, it's really good to hear that, and I hope that he can reflect this on the court because that's what we're gonna need.
Yeah, definitely. And like, he's an athletic player, isn't he? I think people sort of forgot that as well, is because, we know that he can do a bit at both ends. He's a two-way player, but his athleticism is a big part of his game, isn't it? So as you say there, to be able to just play basketball with that freedom is really, really big. Is there, just stand with you for a second, Blau, is there maybe an expectation here where Ollie sort of said there's no real minutes restriction? And I think that's part of what Heat have done here, of being able to bring him back to not have to do that. Obviously, there's going to be some rust here. Are we going to be worried about maybe putting too much pressure on him?
Definitely not. As you guys mentioned, the Heat have a lot of depth this season. We didn't really need him. So he's gonna just feed off that energy from the bench, and he can play a backup role. So today it's just a matter of just getting under his feet, getting the rust back, getting a feel for the game, and then going forward we can look to see what he can provide, and hopefully it's what we need.
Ollie, you're off mute.
Yeah, I think tonight's the perfect game. If he has got rust and stuff, tonight is probably the perfect game to just let him play through it. Like, Houston are the second, third worst team in the league, and we've got enough about us to win tonight. So yeah, just let him play through it, let him get over that rust, and then hopefully he'll be good to go on Wednesday against the Suns.
Yeah, with that in mind, it's almost a perfect game for him to come back. And I think maybe that the Heat have probably thought that is, it's a game we're fully expected to win. We're at full health now. We'll come on to the other players that have come back in a second. But Miami could almost throw him in for, as many minutes as they want here, couldn't they? Do you think they will? How many minutes do you think they may be pinpointing here, Ollie?
I think realistically it'll be around the 20-minute mark, probably. Probably less than that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does play more, because, like I said, we've got enough about us to win the game. They have dealt with his injury that he doesn't need to be on a minutes restriction. It is just about his match sharpness, effectively, and how well he can handle NBA basketball for the first time in almost a year. So I don't think I'd be surprised if he did play sort of 25 up towards 30 minutes. But I think Spo and stuff, they'll be responsible with him, obviously. So it'll probably be under the 20 mark, I think.
Yeah, I think around the 20-minute mark is probably what they'll have in mind. It's going to be an emotional time, isn't it, Bilal? Because he has bought into this team this year. He came back. I think Ethan put out on 5 Reasons a really good tweet to sum it up well, to say, the Heat are going to be an emotional crowd tonight because they've been willing this guy on. I mean, look at them. Look at the reaction today on Heat Twitter. It is bouncing for Victor Oladipo to come back, and that's because he has bought in. He's not played a minute of basketball for almost a year, as we said, and yet he's been fully engaged with his team. He's been a fantastic cheerleader off the bench, and he seems like he's very, 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 very well liked. Ignoring the fact that he's a damn good player, he seems like a really popular member of the Heat team. The crowd tonight are going to be emotional, aren't they, when he comes in?
Yeah, it's a great game to come back to. It's at home. It's in March. We're close to the playoffs with a 1 seed, so everything's just going to play into fact here. And we can expect a very, very emotional and exciting night.
And do you think going forward then, the next week or two is just going to be about getting some minutes under his belt, but he's very much a part of this rotation when it matters? He's got a good spell here the next 3-4 weeks before the end of the regular season to get some minutes, some reps done and under his belt. He's going to be a big part of this rotation, isn't he? Maybe not, as a starter, maybe not even as a closer, possibly, but he can offer both an offensive and defensive contribution. He's going to be an important part, so he's got a big role to play, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. The next couple of weeks is just all about getting his rhythm back, getting chemistry with the team. Obviously, someone's gonna unfortunately be squeezed out of the rotation, so he needs to fill in where it matters. So for now, 1 year of NBA basketball is a long time, and especially coming out of an injury, a quad injury, which is a vital part of your leg, obviously, and the first surgery didn't go well as planned. So it is very, very vital that he gets his rhythm back throughout the next couple of weeks and then build chemistry with his teammates, and hopefully we'll see a very healthy Oladipo come playoff time. And when we
that's exactly the right word. It's just about chemistry, and as I said, it's such a perfect scenario for him to come back because the Heat are, looking good. They're 1 seed. They're probably going to finish the 1 seed now. We'll come on to that in a second. But you know, it's just perfect for him. The timing couldn't be better. We just want to see him now get these minutes up. Ollie, before we finish on Victor Oladipo, I think you've got some late night takeaways.
I do.
Let's do it. Over to you, my man.
Thank you very much. So I've got 2 points. Both are about Tyler Hero, actually. So slightly, we will feed Oladipo into them. But first of all, just want to touch on Tyler Hero's performances since the All-Star break. Obviously, we've seen a huge uptake in his game since the All-Star break specifically. Obviously, over the season, he's done really well anyway. But since the All-Star break, he's averaged around 25 points a game. One of the things I've highlighted in these games over the break is his willingness to attack the defense and how much more physical he's been, and he's embracing that physicality now, and he has done it gradually over the year, but seeing that difference from last year has been phenomenal, really. His work obviously in the summer on his body is starting to really pay dividends as well, and his playmaking skills have allowed him to score more as well. One thing I noticed, and Brady Hawk, who's amazing, if you haven't seen him, go and see some of his stuff, he highlighted in the win against Philly, is that he's now got that. Obviously, we know how good he is at his floater, is that he's now incorporating that with his lob, and he's disguising them both very well together. So playing that two-man game with Bam or Deadman sometimes, he's very good at disguising whether it's going to be a floater or a lob when he's driving towards the hoop, in that it's freezing defenses, and it's making that defender not know whether to gamble, go towards the ball, drop with the roller. And yeah, it's freezing defenses. It's allowing him to score more, and it's been really refreshing to see, because it's allowed him to get those around 25 points a game, just elevate his level even more, and the sky's the limit for him.
It's scary, really. He's playing the best basketball of his career by a long shot, and you know, when you consider how great he was in the bubble, the guy's elevation is exceptional. And you know, people made all those jokes about, oh, you didn't give up Tyler Hero for Harden. At the moment, that doesn't sound like, or doesn't seem like a bad shout at the moment. Tyler Hero's basketball career at the moment is going nothing but upwards. So amazing to see his contribution. Was there something else you had on Tyler before we finish?
There is, yeah, and this one's linked with Victor coming back. So that second unit and how it's going to look now, it's just going to be incredible. Miami already had the second highest scoring bench in the league, and you're about to add Oladipo to that, who reportedly, as we've mentioned, looks incredible. We've seen at times Hero run the second unit by himself, and the defenses kind of focus on him as the main scoring outlet, because in truth, he is the only probably reliable shot creator, the guy that can make his own shot out of nothing. So defenses tend to go to him. And to his credit, he's been very good at passing out of that, finding the open man, whether it be Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, or with the roles with Dwayne Dedman. But adding Oladipo now should effectively spread the floor even more. And it should get both of them really good looks. And Oladipo is obviously known as a bit of a slasher. He's very good to be playing above the rim, cutting towards the rim, but he's also a very good three-point shooter. And it now means that you have such offensive fluidity and flexibility in that backcourt that, arguably, Hero and Oladipo could make it to the playoffs by themselves if they were a starting backcourt. So to have that coming off the Heat's bench now, it's just, hopefully, as we've said, it's just going to solidify that one seed even more, and it's just going to be all good things in Miami.
I sit here just listening to you talking and just smiling, because I'm just thinking, I know that it's always rosy when your team's winning, but this team is playing so damn good at the moment. And when you look at Tyler Hero, career basketball we're seeing from him, Oladipo to come back, Gabe Vincent is not wanting to give up minutes for anybody. He doesn't care who you are. He is playing solid starting rotational minutes at the moment. The production off of him, the IQ that, as we've seen, grown from him. Oh man, Gabe. I mean, Max Strus, we've not really dug him out. That's the wrong thing. But we've had our concerns about Max over the last couple of weeks. Brilliant he's been the last few games. Caleb Martin suddenly seems to have got his bounce back. Dwayne Dedman's been awesome. It's, as I said, it's easy when you're winning to wax lyrical, but this team is sharp, really, really sharp. Bilal, as I just said there, Gabe Vincent coming back, filling in that role again. I mean, Cole Lowry's back tonight. We haven't even mentioned it. Probably the most whelmed way of him coming back. He's just being almost completely ignored. It's so good to have Kyle Lowry back. But what do we say about Gabe Vincent here? Because he's supposed to be just assumed to be taking a back seat now that Cole's back, a back seat now that Victor Oladipo's back. Man, if Victor Oladipo can give us what Gabe Vincent has been giving us, we'll be absolutely delighted, won't we? What do you say about Gabe?
Yeah, Gabe's been fantastic. I think all Heat fans across all Heat Twitter, we all had our doubts about Gabe Vincent coming into the season. Last season, he wasn't really a good 3-point shooter, even with the Heat when he was supposed to be a 3-point shooter. But this season, he's proved to be not only a 3-point shooter. He's been able to run the offense and play good defense as well. So we've all been really impressed with Gabe, and I don't see minutes getting taken off him.
Yeah, he's been exceptional. I think I might have to get his jersey, guys. I might have to get his jersey. I can't wait to get over to Miami. It might find its way into my shopping basket from the Heat store. Keep going, Gabe. It's been brilliant. Let's just talk quickly about Seedings because I can't remember who it was. I really want to big up the tweet because it was good. But somebody put out there about if the Heat even finished a pedestrian 9-8, it means that people like the Bucks and Philly need to finish 14-4 to finish in the 1 seed. That's if Miami finished 9-8. Well, guys, I mean, look, we've still got some tough games here, but we've got the Suns up next. They're missing Booker. They're missing Chris Paul. We've got Philly away. That's going to be a tough game. We've still got to have the Nets come back to the FTX. They'll probably have Simmons playing by then. And I think we've got to play Chicago away, and we've got to play the Warriors at the FTX. After that, it's all sub 500 teams. We've got the Magic, we've got the Pistons, we've got the Rockets tonight. We've got teams that are very much beatable. Obviously, the majority of our games now being at home. I don't think it's unrealistic at all to say that we'll go the rest of this season 12-5, and even that's being conservative. Well, if that happens, Ollie, then the Sixers and Bucks would have to go 14-2. They can only lose twice. 50. They can only lose twice. No, that to beat us because of the tiebreaker situations. If we went 12-5, both of them teams can only lose 2 more times. The 1 seed is wrapped up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basketball is very volatile, so it can change at any moment. But I think we are getting to the point now where it's almost going to be a lock. I think, I mentioned before, anything above 500 now, and the Heat are pretty much a solidified 1 seed unless we see some sort of Bucks, Sixers, or even Celtics run now who are on a good bit of form. If we see a run from them that is anything better than 15-5 over the last 20 odd games, then they have a chance at getting the 1 seed. But as you said, the Heat with everyone coming back to health now, with the games that we've got left, the number of games that we've got at home left, and we have one of the best records in the league at home. I think it's not too ambitious to suggest that we go, like you said, 12-5 or even better than that. So yeah, I think the 1 seed is looking better and better by the day.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, anything can happen. We know that. I mean, look at the Nets. They get injuries and they fall away horrifically. I don't see that happening to the Heat, whatever happens. But yeah, of course, injuries can happen. You hope that everyone stays healthy. But as I said, because of the tiebreaker situations, I would be staggered now if the Heat don't finish as the 1 seed. And Bilal, just to sort of finish up, that sort of gives the Miami Heat a chance there when you get to the last few games, the last 3 or 4 games, to just rest players and even then start to, prepare for the playoffs. We won't know who we'll have because we'll have to go through whoever comes in the play-in. But, there's an every chance here. We might even see a Brooklyn Nets in the first round. I personally think that they will start to come good. They're going back to full health now. I still think they've got a chance there for hitting that 6 seed. But if we're going to face the Brooklyn Nets in the first round, I mean, it's a slap in the face. It's a gut punch. But we'll roll with it, won't we? We'll go with it. We're confident. We're arrogant. We'll go with it.
Yeah, we've got to go with it. Being the first seed obviously comes with responsibility. And obviously, if you want to win the Eastern Conference, you've got to play the best teams either way. So that will be a good start to play the Nets. Obviously, not a great one for a Heat fan perspective, but I feel like that will be a bit of a slap in the face. But we can. I'm confident. I'm confident from what I've seen this season, and also coming to your point, what we did this season that we didn't do last season. We managed to get the tiebreakers over all those teams around us. So it means that we will hopefully lock in that number 1 seed. And also, we wouldn't need someone. We could rest a lot of players against teams like Orlando and Detroit. So I'm really happy about that. And I feel like,
I mean, it will be a real slap in the face to end up finishing first seed dominantly and then end up with the fucking Brooklyn Nets in the first round. But as I said, they'll have to go through the play-in if that's the case. The only thing that maybe goes in our favour with that, I actually still think they'll finish in 6th seed. But if they end up through the play-in, well, that play-in game will if they win that game, which you would expect whoever they come up against to win, they'll actually finish as the 7th seed anyway. So we probably won't end up getting them. But who knows? Lots more basketball to come into. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. Guys, listeners, if you came here for a Houston Rockets preview, sorry, you didn't get much of it. We're playing the Rockets tonight. They are bottom of the West. We are top of the East, as we know. The spread is something like 15 towards the Heat. The Heat are fully healthy. Kyle Lowry back as well, which is big considering we did have some late night closing wobbles as we've seen over recent games. So great to have him back. Let's get some predictions. We're no point really going through the analytics and the ins and outs and the X and O's of this game, but let's just get some predictions to wrap up. Ollie, straightforward Heat win, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say for the air of unbiasedness, I really like Jalen Green. I think he's going to be a star. I'm a big fan of Jalen Green, but tonight, Miami Heat are going to set the NBA record for margin of victory tonight.
Okay.
Whatever the optimist,
Right, so whatever that is, let's say 40 plus. Ollie's gone by. Bilal, are you as optimistic as that?
not as, but I'll run with it. So I'll say Heat by 25.
Yeah, look, I actually think it will probably end up being around that sort of spread. It'll probably be around the 15, only because we'll get the job done, and then we'll see plenty of. I think we'll see some Kyle Guy minutes tonight, some Hayward Highway, who's signed a 3-year deal. Good to see that as well. Another developmental player going through the proceeds there. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. It will probably be closer than it should be, but it will be an electric night. It will be an emotional night in the FTX arena. Yes, just a comment here from my brother. I think Dan should recreate his dance live. What this was about, I put out a tweet to say with Depot Day coming back, you've probably all seen it, the Oladipo dance to Drake. I stupidly decided that if I'd get 100 likes, I would recreate it. I don't know what I was thinking. It flew off. I think it's on about 500 likes or something. So I've got to do that. It's not going to be live because I've got to practice it a little bit. I'll be spending the rest of the week doing that. It will go out at some point this week, but stay tuned for that. That's going to be embarrassing. Anyway, tonight's game, 12:30 tip. Follow us at the Miami Heat UK for in-game comms. As always, subscribe to Miami Heat's UK TV. Tell everyone about it. We are sponsored by Vice Fits. There's your Jimmy Buckets Vice Fits. Go and have a look at them as well. I don't promote Vice Fits nearly as much as I should do. But there's some great stuff over there. About 12 tees. Go and have a look at that. Treat yourself. All the proceeds go straight back into the running of this account. Until then, guys, let's hope for a good night tonight. Wednesday against the Suns will be the next game. We'll catch you then. Let's enjoy Depot Day. Get this win. Let's go Heat.